Finally, our dream of building a spacious new home had come to life, and my excitement overflowed as I envisioned the fresh chapter ahead of us. Just as we were about to celebrate this milestone, an unexpected twist threw everything into disarray. My in-laws arrived unannounced, their tone leaving no room for discussion as they announced, "We're moving in here," and requested that my parents vacate the property. I was taken aback, glancing at my husband for support, but all he could manage was a deep sigh followed by the words, "Please just do as they ask. Gently let your parents know." As I watched my in-laws eagerly unpack and settle into what was meant to be our new home, disbelief and frustration swirled within me. "Do you realize this is our house?" I asked, hoping they might grasp the misunderstanding. My name is Tiffany, and at 32, I've enjoyed a loving marriage with my husband Jesse for 4 wonderful years. While we don't have children yet, our life is filled with affection and mutual support. Recently, I have been increasingly concerned about my aging parents. Their declining mobility weighed heavily on my mind, prompting me to suggest that Jesse and I move in with them to provide care. Jesse agreed without hesitation, recognizing the dual benefits of our presence, supporting my parents while also granting us peace of mind. "It's a win-win situation," he had said, and I was grateful for his understanding. As we contemplated this plan, we faced logistical challenges. My family's home was quite far from the city, complicating our commutes, especially since neither of us drives. Relocating my parents to our small rental wasn't feasible either. It was already cramped for just the two of us, and considering future children would only worsen the space issue. In light of these challenges, I proposed a bold solution. Why not build a new home that can accommodate everyone comfortably? Jesse's face lit up at the idea. "That's a fantastic idea," he exclaimed. Energized by his enthusiasm, we began planning and building a home that would suit all our needs. When I shared the news with my parents about our plan to build a house for everyone, they initially felt a pang of guilt for the inconvenience. However, once I explained our reasoning, their apprehension transformed into excitement, bringing me immense relief and joy. Later, Jesse and I visited a real estate agency to finalize the details of our project. We prioritized locations near hospitals for easy medical access for my parents and close to train stations to simplify our daily commutes. During discussions about the house specifics, I noticed my parents were still hesitant about the idea of moving in with us. Thankfully, Jesse offered several insightful suggestions that helped ease the planning process. As we progressed, our dream home began to take shape, and the excitement was palpable. After extensive discussions and considerable online research, we finalized our plans and were ready to consult builders. We were almost there, with the preparations coming together beautifully. I remarked on how building a home was turning out to be far more complicated than I had anticipated. Balancing this project with work was definitely slowing our progress, I said with a sigh. "Absolutely," my husband added, reflecting on the challenges we face. "We've put so much time and effort into these plans, but seeing the results now, it's been worth it. The blueprint we carefully crafted has exceeded all our expectations." We had consulted numerous real estate agents and spent countless hours on research to get to this point. Now, all that was left to do was wait eagerly for the completion of our dream home. It would take some time, but the excitement and anticipation were boundless. As the project advanced, my in-laws began to show more interest. "We heard you're building a new house. Is that right?" they asked one day. "Yes, that's correct. We're hoping to have it finished by the end of the year," I replied. "How wonderful. I'm so impressed with Jesse's hard work and how he keeps us updated with all the details," my mother-in-law exclaimed, showing genuine enthusiasm for our endeavor. When she suddenly expressed interest in visiting soon, I was a little surprised but happily agreed. The following weekend, my husband and I made plans to visit their place. They greeted us with warm smiles, and the conversation quickly shifted to our home project. "Building a new house is such a joyous experience, isn't it?" my father-in-law remarked, his voice nostalgic as if recalling his own memories. "Yes, we're thrilled," I said. "We just hope the construction wraps up smoothly so we can move in as soon as possible." We all shared a laugh over the excitement of the journey ahead. My mother-in-law, curious, asked, "Could we see the blueprints?" My husband pulled out his phone and showed them a photo of the design. "Oh, it's quite spacious," she observed. "And so many rooms." "Yes," I nodded. "We'll be living with my parents, so we needed the extra space." I explained the situation, and both my in-laws looked at my husband in disbelief. "You're all moving in together?" they asked, their tone edged with surprise. "Yes," my husband confirmed. Since my parents are getting older, we thought it would be best to live together, so we decided to build a new house. Really? I see, they responded, their tone subtly shifting, revealing a hint of discomfort. Sensing the tension, I quickly changed the subject, hoping to ease the mood. How have you both been? How's your health? We're doing well. No major changes. Just the usual routine, they replied, though it was clear their curiosity about our plans lingered. Tell us more about the new house. Which room will your parents be using? They asked. As my husband pointed to the blueprint and began explaining the layout, I noticed the atmosphere had shifted. While he seemed oblivious to it, I could tell from their tense expressions that the news had unsettled them. Still, we continued discussing the house plans, hoping our shared excitement for this new chapter would eventually put everyone at ease. When my in-laws realized that my parents would be moving in with us, I felt a pang of guilt. I worried they might think we were giving my parents special treatment. Despite this, I hoped they would understand our decision, given my parents' age and needs. Yet it was becoming clear that they were finding it hard to accept. The construction of our new home was progressing smoothly, and with each visit, we could see it nearing completion. My husband often expressed his eagerness to move in quickly, but like him, I felt torn between the excitement of starting this new life and wanting everything to be perfect. Halfway through the construction, my parents came to see the progress. Their joy and gratitude filled me with a deep sense of relief and thankfulness that we could provide them with this new home. At the same time, I began to notice my husband had been visiting his parents more frequently, almost every weekend. Are you planning to visit your parents again this weekend? I asked him one evening. Yeah, I am, he replied. I remarked on how often he had been visiting them since the start of the year, to which he responded, I just want to show them my appreciation. That's why I've been making the effort to visit on my days off. I understood his intentions, recognizing that, like me, he was trying to balance the needs of both our families. I asked, should I come along? I was worried that his parents might feel left out or disappointed, perhaps even hoping they would be the ones moving in with us. I thought visiting them could be a nice gesture of goodwill. However, my husband reassured me, saying, it's all right, I can handle it on my own. With that, he left for his parents' house. I decided to respect his choice and promised to support him whenever he needed it. Time flew by, and before we knew it, our new house was finally ready. On moving day, we loaded the car with boxes, bubbling with excitement as we set off to our new home, eager to start this new chapter together. As we pulled up, the sight of our house took my breath away. I couldn't help but exclaim, wow, our new home. It felt like the start of a brand new adventure. I found myself daydreaming about our life there, cooking meals while watching my husband play with our future child in the yard, or hosting family barbecues. These thoughts only heightened my excitement. Just then, my parents called. They were supposed to move in with us, but informed us they would be delayed due to traffic. They urged us to start settling in, but I insisted, we'll wait for you. I planned to share this sentiment with my husband, but to my surprise, his parents showed up unexpectedly. I stared in disbelief as they got out of their car, all smiles, and approached us. Look at this magnificent house. It's impressive enough to show off to our friends. They exclaimed. Yes, it's the house that Jesse and I carefully planned, I replied, feeling a mix of pride and unease. Tiffany, you have excellent taste, my mother-in-law complimented. Well, I suppose, I replied, unsure of how to navigate this unexpected visit. I can give her credit for that, I said, managing a thankful nod. To my astonishment, they began unloading a substantial amount of luggage from their car. Baffled, I quickly asked, mother-in-law, father-in-law, why do you have so much stuff? What are you planning to do? Their reply completely caught me off guard. What do you mean? We're moving our things into this house, they said. You're planning to live here starting today? I asked, my disbelief and frustration mounting. Yes, but you'll need to ask your parents to leave, they continued. Why are you doing this? I inquired, my voice tinged with disbelief. My mother-in-law then explained. As a new bride, it's customary to prioritize your husband's family. The unexpected twist left me struggling to reconcile the joy of our new beginning with the sudden challenge of balancing family expectations against our carefully laid plans. Feeling overwhelmed, I turned to my husband for support as his parents declared they should be the ones moving into the new house. Taking a deep breath, he said, just let your parents know gently. I felt a rush of disbelief. This house was intended for me and my parents. I can't accept this decision, I protested. His response came with visible irritation. Didn't my mom just explain that it's natural for a wife to prioritize her husband's family? We can address your parents' situation later. I was stunned. It was painfully clear that my husband was either heavily influenced by his parents or shared their views, which were now glaringly apparent. Come on, help with the moving, he urged as his parents began unloading their belongings, despite the fact that my parents and I hadn't even set foot inside the house yet. Oh, how wonderful. The interior is just splendid, they exclaimed, eagerly exploring the space. I confronted them. Do you even know whose house this is? They looked at me, clearly taken aback. After a brief pause, they turned to face me and asserted, whose house? Of course, it's Jesse's house. Are you suggesting you have a claim to it? I was taken aback by their confidence. Since you and Jesse are living here, he's put so much into building this house, you have no right to make any claims without letting us explain first. It seemed my in-laws had jumped to conclusions and were quick to blame me, indicating that my husband hadn't shared the full details about our financial contributions to the house. Why would your parents live in Jesse's house in the first place? They questioned. Yes, it's strange. Poor Jesse having such a demanding wife and parents, they added scornfully. I reached my breaking point. Why am I being criticized for their misunderstandings? If you intend to live here, then Jesse should compensate for the amount spent, I argued, feeling my frustration boil over. I've contributed to this house, I asserted, facing their disbelief. How much are you claiming to have paid? It must be a small amount, maybe $100, they mocked. My husband, looking uncomfortable, remained silent. I turned to him, challenging him. Are you being honest? How high and mighty do you think you are? He hesitated, unsure of what to say next. What are you insinuating? My mother-in-law demanded, her tone authoritative. Noticing my husband's reluctance to address the situation, I decided to clarify things once and for all. I paid for this house entirely with my savings. If you plan to live here, I expect repayment of $460,000 for the cost of the house. My in-laws were visibly shocked, their mouths hanging open and their eyes wide with disbelief. They quickly turned to my husband for confirmation. Jesse, is this true? Did Tiffany buy this house? They asked, struggling to grasp the reality of the situation. My husband nodded slightly, affirming, yes, Tiffany bought the house. She was promoted recently and now earns more than I do. He then admitted something more personal. Even though I've been working for a long time and graduated from a prestigious university, I made a significant mistake at work. I can't be promoted and even took a pay cut. Now I'm earning as much as a new employee. The room fell silent as they processed this news. They never imagined Jesse would be in such a situation. After a moment of stunned silence, their attitude toward me shifted dramatically. Tiffany, we're truly sorry for our earlier comments. We misunderstood everything. Please forgive us and let us stay in this house, they pleaded, their tone full of regret. My husband joined in, bowing deeply. Please, it's my fault for not telling you sooner. Let us stay here with you. Their sudden change in demeanor and plea for forgiveness left me completely taken aback, despite their apologies. I stood firm. No matter how much you plead, I can't accept this. I built this house to live with my parents. If that's not possible, there's no point in keeping it. If you want to live here, you'll need to pay me $460,000. We don't have that kind of money, they replied, their faces falling. Then it seems you'll need to find somewhere else to go, I said, resolute in my decision. Wait, they interjected. We sold our previous home and moved out. As my in-laws realized they could potentially be evicted from our new house, they became desperate. Tiffany, please let us stay. Your parents can live with us too, they pleaded. The thought of living under one roof with both sets of parents seemed unmanageable to me. I can't agree to that. If you sold your house, you must have some funds left. Why not use that to find a flat? Tears welled up in their eyes. The truth is, we lost a significant amount in a bad investment. The money from selling our house and our retirement savings went toward paying off that debt. We have nothing left. I'm retired, and my wife has been a